Someone just slid into your feed, promising you a trust that'll slash your tax bill, protect your assets, and basically make the IRS cry into their coffee. And look, we get it. The whiteboard, the dramatic music, the guy in the blazer drawing arrows like he just cracked the Da Vinci Code of wealth. But here's the thing. If you're sitting in the United States watching that video, what you just watched was financial theater, not financial strategy. The rules of the wealth game are real, they're powerful, and they are absolutely jurisdiction specific, which means a strategy that works in one country can be completely useless or even dangerous in another. Let's talk about what trusts actually are, because they are genuinely incredible tools, just not for the reason that guy with the whiteboard wants you to believe. In the U.S. Trusts are workhorses for probate avoidance, estate planning, and in certain contexts, asset protection, and they do those jobs beautifully. What they are not, at least not in any straightforward way under U.S. tax law, is a magic eraser for your tax burden. The IRS has seen every trick in the book, written responses to most of them, and has an entire army of code sections dedicated to making sure you can't just rename your money and call it untaxable. Here's the metaphor that should stick with you. A trust is like a really sophisticated filing cabinet. It organizes your assets, protects them from the chaos of probate court, and can even shield them from certain creditors. But the IRS doesn't care what cabinet your money is sitting in. They care that the money exists. So when someone pitches you a trust-based tax reduction scheme, what you're really hearing is one of two things. Either a strategy that's grossly oversimplified, or one that's operating in a legal gray zone that could cost you more in penalties than you ever would have saved in taxes. Caveat emptor, which is Latin for buyer beware, and also Latin for please don't lose your house over a YouTube video. Now, here's where history gives us some humility. People have been trying to outsmart tax codes since tax codes existed, and occasionally someone finds a real, legitimate edge. But the ones who win long-term aren't the ones chasing loopholes. They're the ones who deeply understand the actual laws of the land where they live and build their strategy accordingly. The wealthy don't just buy trusts off a shelf. They hire estate attorneys, tax strategists, and CPAs who specialize in the intersection of all three disciplines simultaneously. Asset protection, tax efficiency, and estate planning aren't three separate conversations. They're one conversation that has to happen with someone who knows your state law, your federal exposure, and your personal situation. Here's a misconception we need to burn down right now. Complexity is not the same as legality, and dramatic is not the same as effective. The more theatrical a financial strategy looks in a short-form video, the more suspicious you should be, because real tax strategy is usually about as exciting as reading a revenue ruling, which is exactly why the professionals who do it get paid well. The practical lesson history keeps teaching us is this: the people who build lasting wealth are not the people who found the cleverest workaround. They're the people who played the long game with disciplined, boring, legally sound structures that compound over decades without ever triggering an audit or a lawsuit. So what's the move? Find a professional, not an influencer, not a course seller, not a guy who calls himself a wealth architect on Instagram, an actual licensed attorney or CPA who practices in your jurisdiction and can look you in the eye and cite the specific statute they're relying on. Moderate your excitement, size your risk appropriately, and build a process you can sustain without it, depending on a legal opinion that might not survive scrutiny. At the end of the day, the game of wealth is won by the people who understand the rules well enough to use them. Not bend them, not creatively interpret them, but genuinely understand them and build accordingly. Discipline, proper structuring, and the right professional partners will outlast any viral financial hack every single time. We're actually comfortable with any outcome here. If the whiteboard trust works for you legally in your jurisdiction, great. Let a real professional confirm it. And if it doesn't, now you know why, and you haven't lost a dollar finding out. The real flex isn't having a trust, it's having the right trust, built the right way, for the right reasons, by someone who actually knows what they're doing in the state and country where your assets live. Winning the wealth game isn't about finding secrets. It's about mastering what's already there, hiding in plain sight inside the law. Whether you're looking to get started in real estate investing, need reliable home contracting work, or want to connect with lenders who actually understand your goals, we can help point you in the right direction. Check out our links in the description below.